Have some fun. Have some fun. Have some fun. Have some fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we're going to do. Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly video game podcast releasing every Thursday. I'm your host, Alex Stadnick, and as always, I'm honored to be joined by the legendary, the inscrutable, Alex Van Aken. Yeah.
It's me. Hello. Thanks for having me, Alex. I'm glad to be back. I kind of missed last week. I was on for the playlist, but I was busy reviewing Rainbow Six Extraction. But I'm back now. I'm ready to party. So let's get the party started.
You were making a mean bowl ramen, if I remember right.
Ooh. I was. It was actually a pretty good bowl of ramen, even when it was cold after we were done recording. It was good.
Good. Join us each week as we're joined by GI editors and rotating guests from around the industry as we bring you the latest news, reviews, and big man swag your eyes and ears can handle. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready for all of that because literally the next 8 weeks are cuckoo bananas when it comes to games. And this is kind of the kickoff to that. We knew the first part of January, little chilly, little nothing too crazy, but now, baby, we're cooking. We're cooking ramen like Alex was in the fire. It's big. It's a whole thing. We are talking about Blizzard's new game, which out of the blue was announced with a blog post. We're talking about Pokémon Legends Arceus. We finally got to review it and go hands-on with it, and so much more. But first, let's introduce the rest of the panel. He is the host of ATN, and no, not the network from Succession. All things Nintendo, Brian Shea. Hello, sir.
Hello. I have not yet watched Succession, but our former video producer Ben Hansen clued me in that ATN might have some weird connotations for people who watch that show. Yes. So I stopped referring to it as ATN on social media. But I'm doing great. Thanks.
Please watch it because I love the idea of you becoming Logan Roy, even though he's awful, but he's amazing.
Oh my God.
I don't know what any of this means.
Yeah.
Me neither.
The news hound sure as hell does, though. Wes LeBlanc in the building. Hello, sir.
Yeah, you should watch Succession. It's like one of the best shows on television easily.
It's on my list. There's just too many things.
There are too many things. I don't think he hasn't got that Logan energy, though. He's not evil.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's jump right into it. So there's a lot that's going on in the industry today, but Alex got some especially good news early in the week when Blizzard just went ahead and released that they're working on a new game. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, just casually on Twitter, saw a job listing. Hey, we're hiring writers for an unannounced survival game set in an all-new universe. First of all, important to keep in mind, everything going on with Activision Blizzard. I feel like everybody at this point knows what's going on with Activision Blizzard. I was sitting at the coffee shop yesterday and some random dude who I think was in a meeting for his crypto company or something was just like, yeah, man, Activision Blizzard sucks. They've got all this stuff going on. I hate them. And then it was very clear he didn't know all of the details, but he had heard about them. So I feel like everybody and their mother has heard of Activision at this point. But just in case, keep in mind everything going on over there, all the allegations. Last week we talked about them getting purchased by Microsoft, which is huge. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know the drill. But with that being said, they've announced, Blizzard has announced an all new survival game in an all new universe. I am, really excited, even though this is a very vague and weird way to announce this through a job posting for a writer. But yeah, this came via Twitter, and it's literally just that. They said, we're building a survival game in an all-new universe. Join us in writing our next chapter. But for me, I'm really excited because World of Warcraft is my favorite game of all time, even though I have joined in the boycotts and I stopped my subscription last year, whenever all the stuff first started. Yeah, last year. And yeah, but that being said, it is my favorite game of all time. And survival games in particular have become my new favorite genre in recent years. They just that gameplay loop is just so satisfying. The curve of efficiency and you starting off with you're hitting rocks and trees to get basic necessities, and then by the end you've got this huge burgeoning base, and I just love that loop. But getting back to the story, which you can read on GameInformer.com, written by Wesley LeBlanc, who is here on the podcast panel with us. The job posting reads, Blizzard is embarking on our next quest. We are going on a journey to a whole new universe, home to a brand new survival game for PC and console. Editor's note, this is me editorializing. I don't think that they can't say Xbox until like the ink dries. They're just saying console for now. A place full of heroes we have yet to meet, stories yet to be told, and adventures yet to be lived. A vast realm of possibility waiting to be explored. Every story needs a teller, and every world needs builders. What if that could be you? Job listing continues asking, quote, do you like survival games? Do you want to join a collaborative team of experienced developers? Yada, yada, yada. And okay, yeah, they're just talking about next chapter in Blizzard's story. But they've got, open roles and all that. You can go check it out if you're interested. But what I'm interested in is to hear y'all's thoughts on, a new IP from Blizzard. The last one we got was the last original IP we got from Blizzard was Overwatch back in 2016. Overwatch 2 has been in development hell for years now. And I don't think there's any doubt that this game is going to probably rule, because anytime Blizzard actually publishes a game, it's usually pretty dang good. And Blizzard, I think Bethesda might now have this place in my heart, but I don't know, it's up between Bethesda and Blizzard, but they've always been my favorite publisher of games, like my favorite developers. Like I love playing their titles, whether it's something totally new. For me, like I had never played a MOBA before, but I checked out Heroes of the Storm. Hearthstone kind of set the standard for current digital trading card games. Of course, World of Warcraft, behemoth, revolutionized the MMO genre, and is largely, well, that and Final Fantasy now. I was going to say it's largely carrying the torch, but I think that torch has been passed to Final Fantasy in recent years. But yeah, Alex, what do you think about this? You're not a survival guy.
No.
Survival game guy. So does this mean anything for you at all?
That stems from my inability to survive in real life too, probably, if I was in the wild.
Yes.
No, but I think it is fascinating to me, the timing of this and the way that they did it.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're coming off arguably one of the biggest events in games last week, right? Involving them, right? They're owned by Activision, now owned by going to be owned by Xbox. And it was just such a drop in the bucket. Like, oh, by the way, we're making a new game. And I understand it's for hiring purposes. But it's just the marketing on it is so interesting. I think that, to me, it's an indicator on how far away this game is, right? And it seemed like this is done for hiring purposes more than anything. But like you said, it's Blizzard. Like, it's hard to, when they do go in on a new IP, it's been successful with Overwatch, like you said, with Hearthstone, Diablo before it, and all that kind of stuff. So if they can continue that magic, because I think a lot of people would argue that magic is no longer there right now. If they can do that under a new banner, right, where they could be treated better, hopefully, that's the goal. Sky's the limit for what that could be, right? If you start attracting more talent that isn't going to get burnt out and that kind of stuff, like that would be huge. If a game is, if a company is going to get me involved in a genre that I'm not really into, it's Blizzard definitely has a good shot at it. So it's weird in a world where I guess I'm more interested in the announcement of it too. It's like we're in a world where everyone has like these digital showcases, right? Everyone has access to a YouTube channel, and they chose to just put a blog post, and Respawn did too. So I'm curious if we start to go back to that more. I'm curious if this is a barometer for that, but I know people are excited for survival games probably now more than ever. So I mean, this fits, but it's been an interesting rollout of this information.
I also wonder if you guys probably talked about it last week, but Blizzard has always had the freedom to just choose to publish a game or not, and now they are no longer the one. They have to report to Microsoft now. So I wonder how that changes their development process, because they've been notorious for canceling projects or delaying projects by several years to finish them up and get them into a state that they are happy to publish as. And I wonder if that changes now that, they're not owned by Microsoft yet, but as of, June, I wonder how that changes their creative process, if at all, if they just have free reign, or if, there are tighter deadlines. And
Yeah.
I'm very curious. But Shay,
Well,
what do you think about this new? Oh, sorry, Alex, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and presumably because of that deal, this will be Xbox exclusive when the ink dries, which is, and PC
Theoretically,
obviously.
yeah.
Theoretically, but I can't imagine this is going to end up on PlayStation, which, I guess I don't know. The landscape's weird, right? Because I don't think until the last decade, people were expecting Blizzard games on consoles, right? But with Diablo making its mark, Overwatch and stuff, I think that expectation's there now. So we'll see. Nothing set in stone, right? But I can't imagine this is on PlayStation. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that this is going to be like a true test for where Blizzard is at this point. Like whatever the next Blizzard game we get is going to be a true test for what Blizzard is. I mean, it might be very well be Diablo 4 or Overwatch 2 that we get well before this game ever sees the light of day, or we ever even see footage of this game, because like you said, they're just now hiring for it. So it could be years and years and years off, but then again, so could Overwatch 2. So
don't hurt me like that.
Oh, Overwatch is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm hurting myself by acknowledging that, or maybe I'm helping myself by accepting it and moving on
Question.
with my life.
Does Overwatch 2 become the new Half-Life 3?
I don't think so just yet.
Because I feel like Half-Life Alex was Half-Life 3 in a way.
God,
I know it's not, but like, I don't know.
I think that we're going to get Overwatch 2 in 2023. That is my prediction.
Okay.
But my first reaction to this was Activision Blizzard doing the old magician trick and going, pay attention to this hand, not to this hand that's like doing the illusion. And it's like, all right, we have all these allegations. We have news breaking yesterday that Activision wasn't going to recognize Raven's QA union.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, all right,
Yeah.
are they trying to distract from that? I know it's Activision and Blizzard, so kind of separate entities under the same umbrella. But that was my first thought. And then the more I thought of it, I was thinking like it might just 100% be like, we're trying to get hiring going on this project, and we can draw some attention to it by officially announcing an untitled survival game. And it might be a combination of the two, but the more I thought of it, that's probably more of it, is they're just trying to ramp up, and the best way to do that is to draw attention to it in a large way like they did. That said, I think that this is going to be a new era for Blizzard, both because so much of the talent has left over the last couple of years, and also because of the impending Microsoft acquisition. So this is going to maybe be the signal of the new era. I think that like Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, games that were announced long before this acquisition and long before a lot of the talent that's attached to these projects has left, I think that is going to be kind of like the end of this current era of Blizzard. Kind of like we look at like a big Avengers movie as like the end of those phases. And I think that like whatever this new project ends up being is going to kind of signal a new beginning for Blizzard, both because of the personnel involved and also the overlords of which they serve.
Yeah. Wes, you wrote the story up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted in multiple ways. It's a little bit of everything you all touched on. I'm not like the biggest Blizzard fan. I mostly just like Diablo and Overwatch. But survival games are kind of like my least favorite genre. At least the kind where you're thrown into like, I don't know, a random forest and you got to forage and build up a fort and all that kind of stuff. Like that's not really my jam, just because, surviving in the real world is enough for me. And that'll do it. But Blizzard has taken genres I don't really care about, like hero shooters, and made them some of my favorite games. So who knows? This survival game could be one of my new favorite games, like Overwatch was back in 2016. The more cynical side of me is kind of where Brian touched on, which they did announce this game, and then a few hours later, we got a statement from Activision Blizzard saying they weren't going to recognize the union going on at Raven Software. And like, on one hand, yes, it could just be that they are announcing this game, but like, I don't know, with everything going on lately, I feel like every move they make is calculated and has to be calculated. And I wouldn't be surprised if they'd tried to take the heat off of the union bust they're going after, which would be unfortunate. But like Brian said, who knows? Maybe they were just announcing a new game. They did it in a really weird way. They said, hey, we have some job openings. You should come work those jobs. It's weird that they called it an unannounced game, because it's like, I mean, you kind of just did announce it, which is funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in two camps. It's kind of everything you guys have touched on in the past few weeks, and with everything going on in Activision Blizzard, it's one part you're like, man, it's hard to get excited for things coming from this company, but then on the other hand, you're like, man, the developers there who hopefully get treated better in the future make some really cool games, and I really want to play those games.
Yeah, I think
But
I
we
kind
shall
of fall
see.
in line with what Alex Van Aken was saying, where it's like there are few studios, and again, I know the personnel has seen a lot of turnover in the last couple of years, but there are a few studios like Blizzard where if they announce something and it actually ends up coming out, I am almost certain it's going to be a really good product. So that alone is like a baseline of like, even if it's not my favorite genre, or like in the case of like Warcraft, my favorite property, I am going to at least pay attention to it, give it a fair shake, and hope that it at least has like a really good like crowd pleasing level of quality for whatever fandom exists around the genre that they're targeting.
For sure. Well, cool. Well, that was our talk on the news of the week. Of course, there's a lot more news, gameinformer.com/news. And Alex, I will give it over to you for topic of the week.
Topic of the week. So, gentlemen, I will level with you. I wasn't sure if I was going to be excited for this section or cripplingly disappointed, right? And the topic of the week is Pokemon Legends Arceus, Game Freak and Nintendo's new world of Pokemon. Look at that. Wes came prepared. The man's got it. Look at that. He got a Wurmple, he got Bidoof. Wow. Painterly as all hell.
Wurmple. That's it.
Yeah.
Just Wurmple and Bidoof.
no. Wait. Okay. Wait. Settle. Is it Bidoof or Bidoof?
Bidoof.
I've always said Bidoof.
I always say Bidoof. But...
Oh, y'all are Bidoofs for saying
that. Listeners, let us know in the comments how you pronounce it, because there is some controversy there. Anyways, so leading up to this, right? I was hitting up Shay, I was hitting up John Carson, the Pokemon sickos in the office, and I was scared. I was literally like, we've only seen the same 6 shots for the last 3 weeks. That is a red flag to me. Turns out though, game good. I'm here to say game good, and I'm so happy about that. Brian Shea, you wrote the official review for Game Informer. Break it all down, my friend. How are you feeling about it?
I really enjoyed it, and I was right there with you as well. Like, I think if you listen to All Things Nintendo, I was spitting some mad apprehension, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I was like, nobody in the press has gotten their hands on. It's like nobody outside of Nintendo and Pokemon Company, outside of like Christina Aguilera and her daughter, have gotten their hands on this game. And like, how are we supposed to have any trust that this game is going to be good when it's such like a big step or a big like new direction for the franchise? And I was extremely worried when I started the game too, because it starts slow AF.
Intro bad. Intro good, intro bad.
The intro, really? I was like, so here's the thing about this game, like, and I do want to mainly talk about the positives, but there are so many dialogue heavy scenes, especially in the beginning, and there's no voice acting, so it kind of just drags. It takes forever to get through the intro, but once you're finally like kind of set free in the Hisui region, which for those who haven't really been following this game, it's like an ancient version of the Sinnoh region from Gen 4, like Diamond and Pearl. And once you're set free in that, like the gameplay loop really does like just grab you and doesn't let you go until you finish the game. Like your main mission is to go about this entire it's not really an open world, it's like open segments. So like you go to an open area and it's like, all right, this is like the beach biome, and this is like the snowy mountain biome, and this is like the forest biome. And in order to get between these areas, you do have to fast travel. So it's not like a giant open world like you would see in Breath of the Wild. However, it does have vibes like that, where you're just kind of exploring this area. There are paths that lead you like in linear paths towards destinations. But I said this in my review, my favorite parts were kind of exploring off the beaten path, because your main mission is to fill out the first Pokedex of the region. And I think it's like, just a side note, it is super charming to me that like all of the technology is like so like old school. Like the Pokeballs are all made of wood, and the Pokedex is actually like a notebook instead of like a digital like tablet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's really cool in that way, and I think that's really charming. But like one thing that I really do like about it is like, you can sneak up on Pokemon and throw a Pokeball from like the tall grass at like a Pokemon that's just kind of like grazing. And if you catch it off guard, or like, you also get a little lucky with the RNG, you will catch it without having to enter battle, which does wonders for the kind of like streamlining the process of moving through an area. Like, if you see like 3 Pokemon you want to catch, you can just throw 3 Pokeballs, not even wait for the ball to like stop moving around to see if you caught it. You can just throw those 3 right away and keep moving on through. And if you don't catch it, then you can either keep moving, or you can turn around and throw your own Pokemon at it to battle it to see if you want to try to catch it or defeat it. And that is such a welcome change in terms of like allowing you to get through an area sooner, instead of having to like stop what you're doing, enter a battle, beat it down so it has like a little bit of health, or like add a status ailment so you can catch it easier, and then have to like do the next thing for the next Pokemon. No, you can throw it, and like, if you may catch 2 of the 3 that you targeted, and then you can just take on that other one with the battle and do it the traditional way. But it's interesting because it streamlined, or it makes it so much more efficient, because you go from this open, like action oriented exploration straight into the battle seamlessly. So it's not like you have to go to like the battle screen and it loads in or anything. It just kind of like quickly transitions, doesn't really go to like a different screen or anything. It's just like a one shot where it goes from like the exploration right into a turn-based battle. And sometimes, like, if there's like, say you targeted those 3 Pokemon and you didn't catch any of them, but you're like, oh, well, I want to throw my own Pokemon out to fight them. You'll have to fight all 3 of them more than likely, because like they all took notice of you. You're noticed by all 3 of them. So now it's a 3-on-1 battle, which
Really? So it
and
doesn't turn into like a 3v3 if you have 3 Pokemon?
no,
Nope.
it's 3v1, and I will say that this game is a little bit more challenging than
Yeah.
like the mainline Pokemon games we've come to play over the past several years.
Mhm.
And I think that is a very welcome change, as some of the battles are very I wouldn't say very difficult, but they're challenging.
They're challenging, right? You can't walk up on, let's say you have, I don't know, let's say you're facing a Geodude, right? If you come like with your Luxio or something like that, you're gonna get one shot, which is a nice change of pace. Like, so you really do have to pay attention to the types. It's not hard to like prepare for that, right? But like, especially when you get in those 3v1 situations, it adds a new layer to it that I was just so thankful for. Like, just not hitting A constantly and moving through the story,
Yeah, because I've been playing Brilliant Diamond, or I guess I have Shining Pearl. That's the one that I have, and it's just it feels that way a lot of the time, where it's like, until I get to a gym, I'm just kind of like churning through these random encounters and trainer battles, and just like you
Yeah.
said, tapping A through the
Yeah.
menu and using
Even the
all right,
gyms in that game. Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice contrast in that. And then also one of my favorite discoveries that while you're exploring are the alpha Pokemon, which are just like, so say you go to an area and there's a ton of Onyx or in the area, like you can catch like an alpha version of that Pokemon, and it will it'll make it so that like it's a bigger, higher level version of that Pokemon, and it's a tougher battle, but also it's tougher to catch. Like, it's almost like a mini legendary, in that, like, it has higher stats, it has higher level, and it's more difficult to catch. So like, you can be going through and like all the Pokemon in the area are like level 25, and then you come up on an alpha version of that same Pokemon. It's a lot bigger, harder to catch, and it's level 50. So it's
Yeah.
like you might have like a party of level 30s, and it's like now we have to try to take on this massive version of this Pokemon, and
Does it look visually different in the
it's
world?
just bigger and it has glowing red eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The alpha Pokemon are really fun. And then also something that they do really well are these new noble Pokemon battles. We can only talk about Cleavor, which is the first one that you saw in the trailers and everything, if you've been keeping up. But basically, these are like distinct boss battles, unlike anything we've ever seen in the Pokemon franchise, because you're controlling your trainer for the vast majority of it. Like, basically, the Pokemon is launching attacks. It's like in a frenzy, and it's this large, like, different version of the Pokemon, and it's glowing yellow, and it's launching all these attacks at you, and you have to dodge the attacks, like basically learning its attack pattern, and throw like these calming bombs at them. So like any opening that they leave you, like after they attack, like dodge, then throw the bombs, and you're draining this like frenzy bar, which is just their health bar. And then once it, like, if it does like an attack and it ends up like overexerting itself and stunning itself or getting tired, then you can throw your own Pokemon out. And if you win the battle against the Pokemon, it doesn't drain its health at all in like the grand scheme of things. Instead, it just gives you an opening where it's like stunned for a second. You can toss extra bombs at it. And these encounters, there's some problems with it. Like there are a couple where I took unnecessary damage as the trainer because the controls just aren't as precise as you would need for a thing such as this. Like I think they could tighten up those controls in future entries if they keep these conventions going forward. However, I really enjoyed like how they break up the traditional boss battle conventions that they've had for the Pokemon series at this point. Like you don't go around battling gym leaders. Instead, you're going around collecting these stamps that you get for defeating these noble Pokemon or calming them instead of defeating them.
Yeah.
But it's really great. I really like that approach, and I hope they continue to iterate on that. And because there's a lot of cool stuff I feel like they could do with this. Some of the battles later on, we can't say what they are, but they get pretty darn intense. Like there are some that I definitely failed. And when you fail a battle against a noble Pokemon, you actually get an option to like basically replay it on easy mode, and it's not like the battle's any easier, but you can continue without losing your progress on the health bar. So like say you're I mean, we don't want to say killed because I don't think they actually ever use that term, but say your Pokemon trainer is outright murdered by one of these noble Pokemon.
Yeah.
You get your screen goes black, and then it's like, do you want to restart the battle, continue the battle, or quit? Like you have 3 options. And so like if you're really stuck on this thing, I always tried to like restart the battle, but like if you are like helplessly stuck, because some of the later ones really do get tricky, you have the option to just continue where you left off, like at the latest checkpoint. I think like the health bars are divided into 4 segments, and it's like whatever like the last segment that you crossed over that line for, you can continue from that with like your health refreshed and everything. So I really enjoyed those encounters. I don't know how you felt about them, Alex.
I had fun with them. I think, like you, I had, especially the Cleavor fight, I was a little bit more frustrated's too strong of a word, but like maybe a little miffed at the dodging controls, right? I feel like they're not as tailored as they need to be, right? But like I'm happy they did that, and I ended up, once I got the hang of it a little bit more, I was totally fine with them. So I think, in the future, if they clean those up a little bit, because this is really their first attempt at something like this, I think those are going to be fantastic. And I do want more of those kind of fights and different things than we've seen before. I liked the cinematic nature of that a little bit. So
for sure. And the thing I'm talking about in particular is I'll be facing one direction and I'll try to dodge roll in that way, like out of the way of an attack, and he'll like dodge like another direction, and I'm like, oh well, that's not at all what I was wanting. This idiot just dodged directly into this powerful attack coming his way. Great job.
Yeah, you deserve to get hit by Cleavor, actually.
Yes, you deserve to be decapitated by the giant blades that it has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. And the thing that I really liked about going back to the Pokedex completion is that is your main goal of this game. It basically instilled in you from the beginning of like your time talking to the professor is like, we want you to join the Galaxy Team Expedition Squad and go around to these different areas of the Hisui region, document all these Pokemon. And instead of like, all right, I caught the Pokemon, my Pokedex entry for that Pokemon is completely filled. Instead, they make you actually feel like you're studying a Pokemon instead of just mindlessly collecting it, because you can catch like 20 of them and complete the Pokedex entry. But the easier way is to actually complete little mini tasks associated with each Pokemon species. So you can collect different forms of them. You can witness them using certain moves in battle. So like, all right, have Onyx use Rock Slide like 5 times, and it can either be like a wild Onyx doing it or your Onyx doing it, and that will that'll give you like a point towards a completed Pokedex, or defeat this Onyx with water type moves or something like that, or just using certain moves on it, defeating them in battle, catching different forms, catching alpha versions of the Pokemon. These all contribute towards a Pokedex entry. And then eventually you reach a level 10 in your Pokedex, and that means you've completed the entry. So, and then like that also can give you rewards in terms of like special requests. Sometimes people will want to see a completed entry for a specific Pokemon. You can show it to them, and then you'll get rewards and complete that request.
Does it taken like, and with other Pokemon games or just basically all of the other ones, to unlock some entries you basically have to evolve. You have to catch a lower form and then evolve it. Like, how does that work in Arceus? Is every form of a Pokemon out there like all 3 evolutions, or do you still have to do things like evolve one and then do some moves with it?
So when the way evolution works in this game, and the same way moves work, is you have to manually do it, which is interesting. So like you see like on the left side of your screen, you'll see like at the end of a battle or a wild Pokemon encounter, it'll show all like the levels going up because it's like experience share is again on by default, but it wasn't as noticeable this time around. I think because the game was more
Cool.
difficult, but it'll say new move available or can evolve or move mastered, which is another thing we can talk about in a second is the mastery mechanic. But from there, you can actually go, you have to go into your menu and you can see like can evolve under one of your Pokemon, and you click in and actually tell it to evolve in that way. And evolving Pokemon also will contribute to the Pokedex entry. That said, there are evolved forms of Pokemon out in the wild as well. I don't know if every evolved form is out there, but there are like Geodude, and then you'll see Graveler running
Okay.
around in the wild. Or there's plenty of examples of that, and like Electrovere or Electivire, whatever his
Shinx
name
and
is.
Luxio and yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So uh, I don't know if every evolved form is out there, but you do get points in the Pokedex for that entry if you evolve it. Like there's one that was like evolve this Pokemon 3 times or whatever. And that can also contribute to it. But the moves actually, so every Pokemon can know 4 moves at a time. You can swap them whenever you want. So like say your Cyndaquil levels up and learns a new move, you actually have to go into a menu and swap out the move. So you can see an entire move bank, and there's like, all right, your Cyndaquil knows like 9 moves. Which 4 do you want to equip? Is essentially like the way it works. And then if you're like, oh, we're going to an area where there's a lot of grass Pokemon, I want to give him 4 fire moves. You can go back later and equip like tackle or whatever his like non-fire
Yeah.
move is and swap it out whenever you want. And then you go to an area where there's a lot of ice Pokemon, you can be like, all right, we're going to add that fire move back onto his loadout basically. And then as you level up your Pokemon, they master moves, which the mastery system in this adds just an extra level of strategy to the turn-based battles because you can see the turn order similar to like a Final Fantasy X, where there's like a turn order on the right hand side of the screen, and based on which style of the move you want to use, you can like choose a strong attack, a normal, like, so there's normal attack, which is the default, change it to strong, or you can change it to agile. Agile will make it so it's a slightly faster version of the move, which could add like an extra turn to you at some point. So you could go 2 times in a row potentially if you use an agile style of the move, but it's also a little bit weaker. It could be a little less accurate, and the status effects could be like weaker or not stick around as long. Whereas a strong attack, it's going to be more powerful. If there's a status effect associated with it, it could be more potent, and it also will slow you down some. So like it might give your opponent 2 turns in a row. So it's like a gamble of like, do I think this move is going to finish off this Pokemon? Because I've done it before where it's like, all right, this move might finish off the Pokemon. It might not. Let me do strong attack just to be sure. And then like, all right, the gamble paid off. And then other times I've done it where it's like, oh crap, he still has a sliver of health left. Like
Yep.
he might finish me off now that he has 2 turns in a row. And it's played out that way. So it's like a little bit of a gamble strategery kind of thing going on there. And I really like it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll jump in quick too. I think what's so surprising about this game for me is because I've also been playing it for the video review, right? Is it's not that I don't care about leveling my Pokemon, right? Like, but it's a different feeling playing this game, because I'm not just grinding levels, getting them ready for the next gym fight, right? Like that's cool. Like I need them to be higher because instead of trying to be the very best, I'm trying to fill out this Pokemon. That's my main focus, and I love that shift. Like it's a subtle shift, but it makes me want to explore these areas more in a way that other games haven't done, and obviously like Sword and Shield, right, didn't do to that level. And it's just it's kind of that sensation of, for me anyways, like when I played New Pokemon Snap last year, right? Where I was like, I was excited to make the next turn, go into the next area, because I genuinely had no clue what was going to be waiting for me there. And I love that level of excitement that brings. We've talked about in Shay's review and the reviews I'm seeing online too, like a lot of people are bemoaning the technical side of this, which is fair. Like there's a lot of pop-in, there's a lot of
inconsistent frame rate.
Okay. That kind of stuff. And that is disappointing to a certain extent, but I also think there's a juxtaposition of that where this game doesn't work as well if it's not as snappy with loading into battles, right? Fast travel, loading screens are very quick. So it's like it feels like there's some trade-off there, right? I would have loved it to be less janky, for lack of a better term, right, in some of those technical aspects. But I think in the ones that matter and keeping pace with the game, I think those aspects are there and aided in my time having a really enjoyable time with this. I was, like we said at the start of this, I was very scared for this because this is one of my most anticipated, but I also knew that this could crush me, right, if this was bad. And I'm just so happy that it hasn't, and I'm genuinely loving my time with it because of everything that Shay said, right? Because of the extra layer of challenge, because of some of the Pokemon we're seeing, some of the Hisuian forms are great, some of them aren't, that it's just it's how it is, right, with Pokemon these days. It's like some are bangers, some miss the mark. But
I think the Hisuian forms, we can't talk too much about a lot of them, but some of the Hisuian forms are my favorite regional forms we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like the Alolan ones were hit or miss for me. Like the Galarian ones were largely hits, but some misses.
Yeah.
Hisui, I think I loved the vast majority of them.
Yeah. And
we've
like
seen Growlithe. Like Growlithe is like the pinnacle, I think, of like how much I love some of these things. And then there's other ones, again, we can't talk about because of very strict embargoes set forth by Nintendo and Pokemon Company.
Yes.
But there are some really good ones that I can't wait to like have them hit like the Pokemon trading card game, because I want to collect cards about them, or like have like a plushie of that Pokemon.
I
but
forgot about that. Yeah.
So we're gonna start seeing the Hisui stuff, I think, pretty soon in the Pokemon trading card game. So that's exciting as well.
I do have one big question for you two. Can a fella get a code? Can a fella get a copy of the game?
I'll hit up Dr. Game Freak. We'll get it taken care of.
Dr. Game Freak.
Yeah.
It's the new Twitch streamer.
Yeah. And I think
tell him money's tight, but I need to play this.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. I do think there's people, internet's gonna internet, right? And there's people who are gonna yell and scream about lack of voice acting, right? And it doesn't go. If Pokemon Sword and Shield were like maybe a half step towards new, I would say this is like a 3/4 step into what I feel like most of the internet wants. But what's there, I think, is very exciting. And I think as a building block, especially if this is a foundational piece where they just grow from this, like this is the future. I think I'm the most excited for the future of Pokemon now after playing this than I have ever been. Because
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
Dang.
because and I think like we talked about on stream a bunch, Van Aken, right? Worries about feeling like the world is empty, right? I didn't get that. It's not teeming, right? But it is. There's enough that comes in and comes at you to feel engaged throughout the experience. Like it
Keeps
is
you going.
I love a lot of what's there, and while it's not perfect, I am so happy that it stuck the landing for me anyways.
Yeah,
so.
they to your point about like how populated the world is, I think they could have stood to have a bit more in it, like in terms of like the Pokemon population. But they got closer to the mark than I expected them to.
Yes. Yeah.
And also to like the technical things, like the voice acting is the biggest one for me, I think. But the animations, I will say, are the best the Pokemon series has ever had. There are some really great animations, but they still aren't anywhere near the level of like contemporary JRPGs or like its peers in the role-playing genre. Because like the most noticeable thing for me is that like anytime a cutscene is happening and like there needs to be like a new animation that they didn't want to do, the screen will just cut to black and you'll hear a sound effect, and then it'll come back and like, oh, this thing happened, and you just had to like fill in the blanks with your imagination. It's just like it's such like a cop out, but like I'm hoping that like they're going to be able to do more animations and better animations later, but like or for like next games.
Yeah.
But again, like it is definitely a step up in terms of like animations of both the characters and the Pokemon from Sword and Shield.
Yeah, dude, the ice beam move literally sends the ice beam like into space as you're like cutting through someone. It's so dope. There's some really cool like move animations, but I'm 100% with you. I laughed. There's a scene where the leader of the space you're in, Jubilife village you're in, is like challenges you to like physically fight him, and it cuts to black. You just hear, and I laughed and shook my head a little bit. I thought it was.
There's
They're
even easier
so
animations that
realistic.
they could have put in there that they also fade to black on. It's like,
Yeah,
here, this Pokemon's going to do this move. Fade to black. All right, he did the move.
yeah, yeah. So those are the aspects where that team definitely needs to get better, right? And but it's not the technical limitations are not enough for me, at least, to dissuade me from the time I've had, right?
Yeah,
It's not nothing
overall,
against
very
it.
positive on this game.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you could put how positive in a number form, how positive are you?
I don't think we can quantify such things, but
Ooh,
an
try.
8.75 out of 10.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you can check out Shay's review online, and then you can check out the video version of it on youtube.com/Game Informer, GameInformer.com for the written stuff, obviously. Thank you, Mr. Shay. Thank you both for listening. Let's jump into, normally we take a break, but I think playlist is going to be pretty short this week. So do we just want to jump into that? Does that sound good?
Works.
Okay.
I mean, we already did the playlist for both you and I, Alex.
Yeah, for real. So, Mr. Van Aken playing the other big release of the week here, correct?
Yeah. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Got a code for the PlayStation 5, which is what this collection is all about. It's a remastered versions of Uncharted 4 and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. And
The two best Uncharted games.
Oh yeah, easily.
I was seeing some discourse on the timeline today, is all I'll say.
Yeah, people are wrong. If Uncharted 4 or Lost Legacy aren't their number one, I haven't played Lost Legacy, but from what I hear, it's just like continues the greatness of 4.
I will also allow 2, just because of, speaking of Legacy, that was the game that really made that series just like the great franchise that it is. So I will accept 2 as like a Legacy entry as a number 1 for that series, but 4 and Lost Legacy are the best ones.
But I have been playing specifically Uncharted 4 again. I still haven't touched Lost Legacy in this collection because Uncharted 4 is one of my favorite games ever. And I wasn't even like an Uncharted stan. I didn't play Uncharted until a month before Uncharted 4 came out. I played it through the Nathan Drake collection for the first time. And Uncharted 1 was very long. Just skip that one and YouTube it if you want to see what happens in that one. It's rough. And played through 2 and 3 through the Nathan Drake collection. And then 4 came out, and I just fell in love with that's truly where like the games felt so special to me, was in 4. And so that's the one I wanted to play when I got code for Legacy of Thieves, and it runs great. I mean, I don't honestly, I said this in a write-up I did for the website when we were showing off gameplay today, GameInformer.com. That I don't think we really needed this collection. The games are only like 5 years old. They still look great. Granted, it is very nice to play them in 60 frames a second in performance mode. That's what I'm playing it on. It feels very smooth. I mean, it's Uncharted, right? It's Uncharted 4, one of the best PlayStation exclusives ever. And it runs, flawlessly. I haven't had any issues with it. It runs like a dream. The animations, man. Listen, on a certain day, I might say Uncharted is better than Last of Us, but I don't know if today is that day.
Is today the day you want to burn the world down?
I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that, but I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, is Uncharted 4 better than The Last of Us? I don't know.
Animation wise, right? Or are you just saying in general?
No, I'm saying in general.
Oh, wow.
I probably not, but I'm thinking about it. Thinking about stirring that pot at some point in the future. But suffice to say, I love Uncharted 4. It's been a blast playing it through the Legacy of Thieves collection. I think it's $50 if you haven't played these games before, but if you own them, I think if you own one or the other, Uncharted 4 or Lost Legacy, you can upgrade to this on Friday, on the 28th, on PSN for $10. So if you own one of them, you get the other as well. So $10
I thought it was more
upgrade.
complicated than that, but I don't know. I'll look
It
it up real
might
quick.
be. I've read about it
I
earlier
think they
today
took
because
down the editions on digital too, so you'd have to go buy physical discs of Uncharted
yeah.
4 and Lost Legacy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
because I know Uncharted 4 was like I bought it for like $10 back in 2 years ago when it was on sale at Days of Play or whatever. It may
I
have
think
been
if you have your disc still, you can put it in and it will
okay.
recognize.
Okay, dope,
Yeah.
cool.
So, and you can also transfer your saves. Not that you had one, you haven't played it, Alex, but for people
Correct,
out there who do have an Uncharted 4 PS4 save, unfortunately, mine wasn't uploaded to the cloud, so I couldn't download mine. I had to start fresh,
Bummer.
which stunk. And I couldn't get it to work, but I also haven't played that game since 2016. And so, yeah, I imagine if you played that game within recent years and have uploaded your saves, you can transfer that over. But
Shay,
yeah.
did you find something?
Yeah, so I'm looking at, here's a pretty bad caveat if you are wanting to upgrade from a disc version to the Legacy of Thieves collection. Owners of PS4 disc copies must insert them into the PS5 every time they want to download or play the PS5 digital versions.
Yeah. That's
PS4
standard for
game disc owners
PS5.
who buy the PS5 digital edition disc-free console will not be able to get the PS5 version for the discounted price.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that hiccup. I always forget that there's versions of these consoles without discs because I have the disc versions.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So I guess you have to have if you're on a discless PS5 and you own physical versions, you have to buy the bundle for $50.
Which do you think is that worth it for people who haven't given this a shot yet? Because it's two games, right?
Yeah, if you haven't given them a shot, man, I would just if you have a PS4, just buy the games for like $5 on eBay.
Okay.
But if that's not an option, and you really want to play in 60 frames because it is really nice, and it does look pretty. I mean, $50 is pretty good for two of the best, Uncharted games, as Shay said. But
yeah,
I'm always a fan of saving money when you can. It's
For
the
sure.
same content. You're gonna get to see the story play out. I felt like it ran really steady at 30 frames on PS4. So if you think you can stomach that, I know we all have our tastes are all bougified now because of next gen consoles, and we're catching up with the PC people. If you can stomach the 30 frames, I'd say just do that.
Cool. Wes, I saw you express not discontent on the timeline, but you want to play this, right? But you don't know if you have time. Are you gonna check this out on the way it is right now? Are you a fan of Uncharted?
Yes, I am team Uncharted 4 is the best in the series, like by a long shot.
Okay.
And I really want to replay it. I've played it probably like 4 times since
wow.
2016.
Wow.
And I would love to go after the platinum on PS5 because I think trophies transfer over too, right?
I wouldn't know because I couldn't get my save to transfer over.
Oh, that's right.
But I think so. Yeah,
I think all I got to do is like a crushing playthrough, and then I get the platinum. And I believe there's a 120 frames mode as well, right?
Yeah, for 1080p.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about 1080p, but
Yeah.
I would love to give that a go and see if that makes crushing a little easier. But yeah, there's just no time. There's so many games coming out. I still got to beat Shining Pearl somehow before Arceus, and then play Arceus, and then there's Dying Light 2 on the horizon, and then Elden Ring, and
you can
just
mainline Uncharted 4 in like
games.
15 hours if you
That's
really
true.
want to do it. Well, probably not on crushing.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. I'm not good at those games, but I love them.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So new gameplay today is up on the YouTube page, and
got 30 minutes for you to show off.
Ooh.
I picked Infernal Place, which is like my favorite early mission of Uncharted. Like it like does a good job of like really set it. There's several like tutorial missions in that game that are like kind of dole out the story in interesting ways, but I always feel like the prison level is like the best introduction to that story and gameplay, and so that's the one I showed off, and it's very pretty.
Yeah, it looks very, very pretty. It's motivating me to. I've beat 1 and 2. I need to play 3 and 4 now. So that's my,
I'm telling you, skip 3.
No, don't skip 3. Don't skip 3.
Three's really good.
I
But you
saw
can just
some
play
love
the
for
best
3 on the
one.
timeline. Yeah, that's true.
Listen, time is the ultimate resource these
Look,
days.
if you made it through 1, you can make it through 3 a lot easier.
I liked 1 too. I was like, this is fun. You know,
And if
it's
you really just want,
interesting.
if you really just want to speed through it, just put it on easy, get through
Yeah.
it,
That's what
and
I
then
did.
I mean that's what I would recommend.
Do it in 9 hours.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend to anybody who's going to play these games for the first time. Play through Uncharted 1 on easy because that game just drags and goes forever. Then play 2, 3, 4, and Lost Legacy on whatever normal difficulty you would play on.
I disagree. I say YouTube the first game. Cutscenes on YouTube for like an hour or 2. Save your time, then go to 2. Then 3 does have good moments. Yeah, you should play 3.
Okay. Do a little Kingdom
Try
Hearts
to
chain
mainline
of
to get to
memory.
4 as quick as possible.
Okay, I got you. I think I'm
Do
looking
the
at
cheat codes, get
do
on
the-
God mode, like
Yeah,
whatever you need to.
grenade launchers and everything. I think this is the year I'm finally really catching up on my PlayStation backlog, and I think I'm targeting April to check Uncharted off that because I did Horizon Zero Dawn ahead of Forbidden West.
You would love Uncharted.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I think you
So,
might like it more than Horizon.
don't make a girl a promise you can't keep. That's all I'm going to say to you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Wes, I think that does it for this segment, or do you have anything you want to add?
Nope. Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 2, but other than that, I'm good to go.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that was your playlist segment there. That was your moment.
I played Dark Souls 2 in the lead up to Elden Ring recently, and that game's not as bad as people have made it out to be. Although I know there's people that love it. That was a good time.
Tack is a huge proponent of that. Why DS2 instead of like Bloodborne or 3 or Sekiro?
Well, so I haven't played Dark Souls 2 and 3, or I hadn't played those. I still haven't played Dark Souls 3. That's the last From game I need to beat, hopefully before Elden Ring, which I just don't know if it's going to happen. But yeah, I was just like, I need to beat the ones I haven't played yet, and started with Dark Souls 2. I was so scared of Dark Souls 2 because everyone's like, it's much harder, and there's like a cheap health mechanic, and it's developed by like the B team of From Software because Miyazaki didn't really work on it. But I came out like really, really, really loving it. So I should probably talk to Dan about that.
I think you would redeem yourself for your Mario take with him if you came to him with that.
Oh no, what was his Mario take?
The 3D World is the best Mario.
Let's get him out of here.
We're going to take a quick break to make sure the family doesn't dissolve once again, and we'll be right back with community emails.
And welcome back to the Game Informer show. We always start off housekeeping with a new podcast review. This week, it comes from Wes Bates. West gave us a 5-star podcast review on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts rather, saying best in the biz. If you're looking for some first-in-class video game podcasting, look no further than the GI Show. Every iteration of the show keeps getting better and better, and the current hosts of Alex Stadnick and Alex Van Aken knock it out of the park every episode. Oh, thank you, Wes. There's no better ensemble crew in games media than the Game Informer staff, and their knowledge of the industry, insightful commentary, and all-around entertaining personas always make for a wonderful show. Bravo, GI Show. Bravo. Wes Bates, thank you, my friend, for that kind review.
I don't believe a word of it.
No, me neither. Listen, I offered him a code for Pokemon Legends Arceus under the table on behalf of that review. Wes, I mean, I got to tell you, I actually don't have any codes for Pokemon Legends Arceus. And if I do get one, I'm going to keep it. So I'm sorry I duped you, my friend. You got to watch out. I'm a trickster.
Should probably clarify that is not actually what happened before we get banned.
For legal purposes, that was a joke.
Yeah. Which is the best way to tell a joke, when you have to explain it for legal purposes.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Weekly streams this week. Of course, we stream over on twitch.tv/Game Informer. We stream on Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays. I should have said Monday first, Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. But, my brain is broken. This week on Thursday, we're going to be playing Dying Light 1, it sounds like, at 2 p.m. Central. And then, Alex, on Friday, you and John and Reiner are playing.
And Jill. We got a whole squad. Yeah. So we're going to be playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. The game is out. And we're going to stream the good news to the rest of the world. So I am very, very excited about that.
Do we have a time for that yet?
We're going to do morning for that one. We're locking down a time, I think 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Central. So
okay, just go over to twitch.tv/Game Informer. Just keep that Twitch page up 24/7 and you won't miss one of our streams.
Perfect.
And then later that day, I believe we are doing an AMA on our Dan Tack's going to be hosting an AMA for his time with Elden Ring, which is our next cover, baby. Let's go.
buddy.
We've got awesome Elden Ring coverage for you, GameInformer.com. And also on Monday, we'll be streaming a multiplayer game of some kind because it's multiplayer Monday at 9 a.m. Central, twitch.tv/GameInformer. There's a couple thoughts out there. We're thinking about Deep Rock Galactic. We're thinking about Escape Room Simulator. You'll have to tune in to find out. And yeah, we kind of already talked about it, but yeah, our next cover has been revealed. It is Elden Ring. Did any of us I don't think any of us got to sit in on any of the interviews. No one on this call did, but reading Dan's, teaser of his impressions, he said, this is the most excited I've ever been for a video game. Which are big words. If you know Dan Tack, he is not easily excitable, despite his poggers Twitch persona that he likes to put on. He's hard to impress. And so the fact that he walked away from his time with that game with those thoughts has me really excited to read his cover story. So yeah, GameInformer.com. Stay tuned. Notable YouTube videos of the week. We've got reviews of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Rainbow Six Extraction went up last week. And we've got Uncharted gameplay to show off this week. So all that on youtube.com/GameInformer. Social media plugs, of course, follow our host, Alex Stadnik, at Studnik76. You can follow me, Alex Van Aken, at It's Van Aken. Follow Mr. Brian Shea at Brian P. Shea, and Wesley LeBlanc at LeBlanc Wes, LeBlancWes. Lastly, follow all of our video game podcasts. Video Gameography is our video game replay show, or not replay, our video game history podcast, where hosts Ben Reeves and Marcus Stewart play through one iconic game series at a time. First season was Metroid, then it was Halo, and I can't wait for you to find out what the next one is because I know what it is, and it's going to be awesome.
Wow.
And All Things Nintendo is our weekly Nintendo podcast hosted by one Brian Shea. I was actually on a recent episode. We talked about the Analog Pocket, and yeah, Alex, that's going to be it for
we do have one more podcast now in the GIPN, as we're calling it, the Game Informer Podcast Network. Andrew Reiner, the EIC himself, coming in with a comic book podcast.
What's
he's
it called? Panel to Podcast?
From Panel to Podcast.
Yeah. Right. I like that name.
He used to do, for fans of GI, that he used to do a podcast on his own about comics, and we just got to talking, and he really thought it could work with within the GI family. And the first episode is live now, so be sure to go give that a listen. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
my
really
guy.
Good. Yeah. I was off the past few days. Yeah. And so a lot happened while I was off.
Correct. Apparently. Yeah. We made sure when Alex was gone, we're like, all right, let's get out. Come on, quick, put it all out. Well, and his co-host, who I'm forgetting the name of, I apologize. They've been doing the podcasting together for a while, so that familiarity and that chemistry is already there. And it's not just limited to actual comic books, right? They're going to talk about games. They're going to talk about movies as well. So, cool. Yeah. And, I would expect that some of the GI crew is on it as well. Like it's going to be fun. So the podcast family keeps growing, which is very exciting.
Rad. That rules.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Alex, why don't you take it away? Take us to listener emails.
Listener emails. Oh my goodness. This is the section of the show where you get to tell us what to say, how to think. Well, maybe not that as much, but you get to write into the podcast.
Decide what we talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No mind control, hopefully. But, the good, gracious crew, the community of the GI faithful sends in their questions either at podcast@GameInformer.com or on Discord. But for the life of me, Alex, I can't remember how to get into Discord.
Oh yeah, Alex. You have to go to Twitch actually.
Okay.
And you have to subscribe on Twitch with either real life money or with the free money that you get from Amazon Prime through Twitch Prime every month. Okay. You can subscribe to us, Alex, and that'll get you access to our Discord channel. And for the life of me, for the longest time, couldn't figure out why people were having issues with getting into the channel. It wasn't linking. Okay. I fixed that problem now. It's because Discord is dumb and it desynced from our Twitch page, but it's all fixed now. So you shouldn't have to email me if you need to get in. But if for some reason you need to, it's Alex Van Aken at GameInformer.com. But yeah, just subscribe on Twitch. link your Twitch and your Discord inside of Discord, and we should appear under your integrations in the Discord channel. So
Love integrations.
I love integrations.
Alex, there's just so many darn good Twitch creators out there. What if I want to subscribe another month to, Fanbyte, for instance? Do I have to subscribe more than once to stay in the Discord?
Oh no, just one time. Just one time, Alex.
Yeah.
I was confused where you're going with that. I was like, yeah, you can.
I was thinking
Fanbyte's
of an outlet.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Fanbyte.
Yeah.
You just have to do it once and that should get you access.
Cool.
But if you want to have like your, you want to be one of the cool kids where it's like subscriber and your name is a different color, you have to continue subscribing. But to get in, just a one-time fee.
You hear
and
that,
that's just
folks?
to keep trolls out,
Yeah, exactly. And to start a class system within our Discord. We love
it.
This week we got a good crop from Discord. Wes said it in our Slack channel. This was a great week for questions. Every week is good, but this was fantastic. So let's get it kicked off here with the one and only Cody Gibson over on Discord. Cody's coming in and asking, with Pokemon coming out, I feel obligated to ask who your favorite starter is and why. For me, it's hard to pick between good, old, reliable Charmander or the more recent Rowlet. I picked this one because this is also a Slack conversation that we just had recently. So Shay, do you want to kick us off here? Is this too hard of a question?
I mean, the standard answer for me is going to be Charmander. That's just because I have always loved that guy. I think that Charizard rules. I have a little statue of him right out of camera view. I'll bring him out. It's a special occasion.
Let's see him.
Oh, he opened up the glass.
Oh, yeah. Look at that beautiful boy.
I am Team Charmander, even though there are people who assert that he is the worst Gen 1 starter, which to them I say, come on.
Those are just hipsters, I think I finally get it. The
Bulbasaur
boomers
lovers.
In 2013, they were obsessed with, blaming hipsters for everything. I think they are truly the reason that, Charizard isn't appreciated. People think they're cooler than Charizard. You're not, all right? He's a dragon.
Dragons are awesome, right?
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying the boomers are doing that? Is that who I missed
I don't know. I've lost the narrative.
Someone has. Wes, king of hot takes, apparently. What do you got for this one?
Not a hot take, but probably not a lot of people's favorites. Mudkip is the best starter. One, he's in Gen 3, which is the best gen of Pokemon, just by far.
I asked if you were going to have a hot take, and you said no. Good Lord, man.
Wait, what did he say?
Home
Gen
to
3 best
Pokemon.
gen.
Home to Pokemon Emerald, one of the best Pokemon games, probably the best. It's right up there next to Crystal.
Wes, I want to go down these roads with you, and then you throw in these wrinkles, and I can't possibly go down with you.
All right, I disassociated for a second. What is the hot take? Because you're saying a lot right now, Wes.
Emerald,
Gen 3 is
best
the
Pokemon
best gen.
game.
All right.
Wes, you scared of a little water
serious.
or something? What's wrong? What's wrong? Like,
whatever you say.
Gen 3 is great.
I feel a lot better about my Uncharted 4 is better than The Last of Us comment earlier.
Look, I bring the hot takes. They're hot. I don't know why. It's just common sense. But Mudkip is
pile
just the
poo.
best. What's your favorite gens? Let's hear it then. Let's hear it.
Gold.
Yeah, Gen 2. Gen 2 is objectively the best Pokemon games.
See, here's what I was going to say, Wes. I love 3. I think 3 is one of the most underrated gens out there. But then you went and said it's the best one. And I can't follow you. I'm the Padme to your freaking Anakin, man. I can't follow you down this road.
Gross.
Because it's 2. It is 2. Like, objective. Like, no, there's no objectivity here. But, like, especially with the ending, right? Where you literally just go and play Gen 1 after it. Like, that's a moment. But also, I can make cool tree forts in 3. So, and Torchic. So, I get it. But also,
I don't get it.
Yeah. But you said Mudkip?
Mudkip is great.
Yeah.
Mudkip is great. I wish Mudkip was in a different generation so that I could enjoy it more. Because Mudkip is arguably one of the best.
And Groudon, top tier legendary Pokemon by far.
Rayquaza, Deoxys, like, come on. What are we?
Rayquaza is good. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Kyogre's fine.
Yeah, we don't talk about Kyogre.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. Well, don't, because now we're
you
coming
don't have
to you.
anything nice to say. Don't say anything at all. That's what my mom always told me.
Yeah.
I'm already talking, so I'll tell you mine. My favorite Pokemon, my favorite starter. Oof. It might be Totodile.
That's such a
That's
good
good.
pick.
That's good.
That's a good pick.
It might be Totodile. It used to be Charmander. But man, Totodile's a good boy.
Look at this. One of the best boys. Look at this man.
Totodile, Charmander, Bulbasaur. Those is probably the top. I don't know.
Okay.
They're pretty good. But I'm gonna say
Wesley,
Totodile for today.
Let me ask you this: was Gen 3 the one that you started with?
No, I started with Gen 1, but I will say
Okay.
Gen 3 is the one I played the most with, and I also played it on Nintendo's best handheld, the Game Boy SP.
Okay, thank God you said that.
I do love the
I thought you were gonna say
SP, yeah.
something else.
We're good,
I was
everyone.
terrified.
We're good.
I had to
We're
tee
ready
it
to get
up.
the
I had to tee it
pitchforks,
up.
yeah.
I knew what I was
Yeah.
doing.
Don't scare me like that.
Also, Emerald was when Emerald came out, I was at the point where I was like discovering the internet, and I remember reading forums, and people were like, if you go to the Space Center on the 10th day of the month at 1 a.m., you get to go into a spaceship, and then you get to go fight Deoxys, and just little things like that really highlighted none of it happened, of course. 'Cause that's not real. But, I loved it.
I do love that era of the internet, and when it was GameFAQs, right? And someone was like, "Yo, if you play 16,000 hours of Smash at 3 a.m., you unlock Mew as a playable character." Like those were the glory days, right? But yeah, okay, good list. Y'all blaspheming in here if you're not talking about the Squirtle King himself. He's my boy.
I mean, Squirtle's great, man.
Squirtle's great.
There's not a single bad one in Gen 1.
Gen 1. Exactly.
I think Gen 1 through 3, well, yeah, are the best for starters. I'm starting to like 4 now that I actually played Shining Pearl and Diamond or whatever the remix were. Shout out to Chimchar. I feel like probably Squirtle, Cyndaquil, and Totodile are probably like my big 3, but I also love Torchic, Trico's
I really
great.
Torchic is really great just because I like Blaziken so much.
Yeah, Blaziken's dope.
However, I will give a shout out to Rowlet. I think Rowlet is a very good recent starter.
Yeah. Rowlet
I
is
like
good.
Decidueye. Is that how you say it? Decidueye?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. He rules.
But we'll never know because
They
there's no
rule.
voice acting.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm
True.
sure we can watch the anime.
Is that why? Do you think that's why everyone's scared to try to pronounce these Pokemon names? They're like, we're just not going to do it.
No, because they're all in the anime.
There's also like a guide out there I saw. Someone tweeted today where it's like they have an encyclopedia where they give like the phonetic spelling for some of the Pokemon. But yeah,
Did you guys say who you picked in Arceus? Can't you say that?
Cyndaquil. Like instantly Cyndaquil.
I did Rowlet.
Choice for me.
Okay.
Ooh,
Mine is
there
going to
we
be
go.
Cyndaquil.
Yeah.
Cyndaquil is also
good.
top 5.
He's so cute. Look at him. He's a tiny
He was my
little-
first Pokemon in Gen 2.
Yeah.
I didn't play Totodile until my second playthrough.
Yeah. I wish if Totodile was in Arceus, I would have picked him. But
maybe that's why I like Charmander so much, because my first playthrough, I chose Charmander, so he was technically my first Pokemon I ever had.
Look at that.
Aw.
That's kind of sweet. Yeah, I like that. Rook, aka Rob, over on Discord. Shout out to Rob. Last night, I got to see Tool live for the first time in about 13 years, and it got me wondering, what's the greatest live musical performance you've attended in your life? I can kick this one off while y'all ponder. Here's the thing. Don't really like him as much anymore. Don't like some of the stuff he's said and done. But when I saw Kanye West on the Life of Pablo tour, I felt like a spiritual awakening, and I can't even begin to describe it. It was the tour where he did this. His stage was floating around the crowd, so like we were, and he had the light show to back it up. So we were first level, but in like the stands or whatever. So we weren't like down in the pit or whatever. So like his stage literally just like went across the XL the entire time. So there was one point where he was maybe like 50 yards from us and stuff. And I just, I think a lot of people saw that and was just like, oh, whatever, it's Kanye. But I appreciated that as someone who couldn't afford floor seats, right? I also got like a relatively intimate experience with that. And, I love Life of Pablo, that album. I think it's very good. Like I said, not a huge fan of his right now, but I I will never forget that concert. It was just it felt like the aliens were going to come take him away and send him back home, but it was it was a trip, man, and I will never forget that. Also, shout out to Kendrick Lamar concert and the Rise Against concert I went to, where I tried to crowd surf and crack my head open. That was a lot of fun too. So
Ooh, that
Fucker.
yeah,
sounds a lot of fun.
yeah. I also the Rise Against one was rough, man. I went in flip flops, wasn't expecting the moshing, lost my Fitbit. It was a whole experience. So
Oh, not the Fitbit.
I'm a fool. What can I say? So Alex, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to live in Boulder, Colorado for several years, and that was like 45 minutes away from Red Rocks. So got to see a lot of cool shows at Red Rocks Amphitheater. I think my favorite, though, by far, I saw the lineup was Daughter was the opener, and they did the entire Life is Strange 2 soundtrack.
Oh, cool.
Or Life is Before the Storm soundtrack. But Daughter, and then the headliner was a guy named Ben Howard, who is like probably my favorite all-time musician. He does like really complicated acoustic stuff, like, slapping it, doing all the pick and go, finger picking style. But yeah, it was just an incredible show. And I was actually like randomly, like a week ago, I saw videos of that concert, and they're like incredibly blurry because they were shot on like an iPhone 5 or something at nighttime. But yeah, it was just, I will always remember that concert. It was so good.
Yeah. Is Red Rocks as cool as it sounds and looks?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's awesome.
Yeah. I'm sad that COVID's still a thing, but also those tickets are
I've got
crazy
tickets to go back
accessible.
in June
Ooh.
to see
Nice.
one of my wife's favorite bands, Lord Huron.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Nice.
So
That'd be good.
hopefully we can do that. Hopefully
That'd be a
we'll
good
be able
venue
to go.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord Huron's good. Wes, how about you?
I've got two for very different reasons. The first was a band called Beartooth, which the vocalist, he does like everything. He tracks the entire record, and then he just has like a touring band. He used to be the bass player and then vocalist for Attack Attack, for people that listen to metalcore in 2010s. But during the last song, he handed me the mic, and I got to like finish out the song. And I remember the show gets rough, obviously, because they're screaming and moshing and stuff. And there was someone who was trying to take the mic from me, and my friend saw that I had the mic and didn't want me to lose the mic, and he just decked the dude right there. Like we're in the pit, so I guess it was allowed. I don't know. They can figure that out in court.
Moshing gets nutty, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a cool moment. I got to perform one of my favorite songs with their vocalist. And then the second one, so it was like Warped Tour back when I was in high school. I was like 16.
Yeah.
In Florida, Orlando, Florida, so it's like 110 degrees basically. I'm watching August Burns Red, one of my favorite bands. I get out of the pit. I was moshing, doing my thing, and I go and I just lay down on the outside of the circle because I'm probably going to die of heat exhaustion soon. Yeah. And I was with some friends, and one of them poured one of the very expensive, like $7 water bottles from Warped Tour on my face, which when you're 16, $7 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I was like, I don't know this person. I'm in love with this person. And it turns out that I would marry that person. And I've been with her for 10 years. And so I met my wife almost dying of heat exhaustion at an August Burns Red show.
That's incredible. I had no clue.
I know, there's a little left turn there. She dumped the water. I looked up and I was like, I'm gonna marry this person. And I did. I did
dump you. Look at that. Yeah.
It's wild.
That's incredible. Brian Shea, I apologize that you have to go after that.
No, I mean, mine are just like amazing performances that I've seen live. So 2008, Iggy Pop and the Stooges at Virgin Mobile Fest was incredible. Iggy Pop basically just like incited a riot, and we were just pretty much along for the ride, and I was right on the rail for that. So like it was just pandemonium. Like he was inviting people up on stage, and the security of the festival was like desperately trying to keep them off. So like the crowd was like fighting the security people who got on the stage, like, and like would run up, and Iggy Pop was just like loving it. And some guy got up on the stage and was like running across with his arms up like this, and a security guy came and just ran full force and tackled him off the stage. And I have never seen somebody's head hit the ground, because it's like a 10-foot drop off the stage, and he just landed head first on the dirt. That was a really good festival, by the way. The two headliners, well, I guess there were four headliners. So night one, it was Foo Fighters on one stage, Jack Johnson on the other, and then the second night was Nine Inch Nails on one stage and Kanye on the other stage.
Wow.
And then like there were also Stone Temple Pilots, Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Paramore, Taking Back Sunday,
Oh wow.
Chuck Berry,
What?
Bob
This is so
Dylan,
random.
the Black Keys right as they were hitting. So it was a really great festival. The Offspring, but Block Party, all kinds of great bands
Blake's
at that show.
favorite band, yeah.
That was an incredible show. But but Iggy Pop and the Stooges were like the Lil Wayne as well. But they were the standouts of
just
that
Lil Wayne,
festival.
Otis Redding was there. They had a hologram of Tupac. Like, yeah.
I would say a few years later, Stone Temple Pilots in Maryland, I got to see them, and it was just an unbelievable show. I was like on the rail center, like Scott Weiland was like here the entire time, just rocking out. They all sounded amazing, and Dean DeLeo gave me his guitar slide at the end of the show, which was incredible.
Yeah.
And then the Struts, which are like a newer band, they play like glam rock. They have like 3 albums out now, I think. But like, if you have a chance to see them and like you have any affection for like Queen or like The Sweet or like maybe a little bit of Bowie, like they put on one of the most entertaining shows you will ever see in your life. And it's just high energy from start to finish, and they do amazing covers as well. So like definitely check them out if you have a chance to see them. I've seen them twice at First Ave, always amazing. Cool. And then a special mention here, so E3 always has like parties, and they always have like DJs and everything come out and play them. I went to the Let It Die party. I want to say this was either 2016 or 2017. And so Let It Die, the Grasshopper game that hit PlayStation Network around that time. And they had like a rock band playing. So first of all, the Silent Hill composer came out, and he was the opening act, but he's in a metal band. He's a guitarist in a metal band. So they played like a set, and it was awesome. And then they took a break, and there was a band called the Hellcat Saints that were going to come out and play. And basically what I found out later was this is just like a band that like all these like seasoned musicians come out, and they will like just do this in their spare time. They'll play events, but like they just come out and they play a ton of covers. So it was the guitarist of Nine Inch Nails, Robin Fink. It was Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses. It was the drummer of Queens of the Stone Age. It was the bassist of Ozzy Osbourne. And it was the rhythm guitarist of Velvet Revolver. And then they had the touring singer of Apocalyptica. And he's just able to sing every single song you could ever imagine. He has such a versatile voice. And then in the middle of it, and like, you know, I'm as close to the stage, like I'm literally leaning over the rail, and my like body's over the stage, and the stage is like that tall. So like I'm like seeing eye to eye with all these amazing musicians. And then they're like, all right, welcome to our special guest, Chester Bennington. And he came out and sang like 5 or 6 songs with them, and then left. And then they invited the guy back on, the Silent Hill composer back on to join them. And this was right after Lemmy died from Motorhead. And they played like this enormous, like 20 musicians on stage version of Ace of Spades. And that was how they closed out the show. And it was just a magical performance. I have so many great pictures and videos from that.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. Yeah, you followed Wes's up pretty well.
That's one of my favorite E3 memories, and it's not even like from the show floor.
Yeah.
Oh, and now E3 is canceled. The year I joined full time, it's gone.
I can't even get into it. I literally, I am in the same boat where I never went to an E3, haven't been to a gaming conference yet, and the world said no.
Yep.
Yeah, I miss concerts. I miss festivals. I don't think I'm getting too old though. I used to go to one called Soundset every year, which was the biggest hip hop festival in the world, or the US for sure. But I went in high school, so I feel those stories, but I don't know if I could do it anymore as much. It got wild a little bit.
I used to love getting like general standing tickets and then spending all day waiting in line so you could be right at the front. But now I'm like, I'm going to spend the extra money and I'm going to sit my butt in a chair and it's going to be nice.
I used to get there like 2 hours before door open just so I could like be the first one to like get to the rail. And now I'm like, I'm going to show up like midway through the opening band.
I'm going to stand in the back of First Ave and enjoy myself and not have to
a couple beers, have a bathroom break, not have to hold it all day.
Yeah.
Like,
My
That sounds lovely.
wife, she's a big Lady Gaga fan, and she always goes to her tours, which don't happen too often. And every time she has like a group that she goes with, they get there like 14 hours before doors open, and I'm just like, I
14?
cannot do it. Like,
Not about it.
they're always
Can't
like, "You
do
want
it.
to go?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think I could sit outside that long." No.
Yeah. What is Lady Gaga's people called? Monsters, little monsters, right? Or something?
yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Yeah. Everyone, let's get rid of COVID so we can go back to festivals and concerts.
I
Anyways,
know my Rage Against the Machine tickets were delayed once again, and Axis will not get back to me about giving me a refund finally since the third delay. And I'm like, you've held my money like interest free long enough.
yeah. Yeah, for real. By the time hopefully that My Chemical Romance finally comes to Minneapolis, I would have had those tickets for 2 years. And I'm scared that they're going to get pushed again, but they're going to be at that festival in Vegas in October, so I think I should be fine. So.
Yeah, that Super Real Festival. Mhm.
You ain't buying it?
No.
No
I mean,
way.
that
No
lineup
way.
is
No way.
one of the greatest of all time. Like
If you
that
do
is
the math,
insane.
it's like
good.
11 minutes per band.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
they like
and, like,
extended it 3 days, right?
Half
But it's the same
bands are like,
lineup, right? It's like they're
"Wait,
just playing
we
the
didn't know
same
we
show
were doing
back to
this."
Can you legally? Never mind. We can get into that another time. I didn't get tickets, so anyways,
You're not going to regret not getting tickets.
yeah, I think so. I'll get my MCR fix when they come to Minneapolis. And you know what? I'm gonna scream and cry like a little girl at that one. I've been waiting almost.
Are you
20 years
jealous
to
that I
do
got to meet and interview Gerard Way?
Yeah, I am. Are you kidding me? Sorry, Alex, but like, I think about that a lot. Where it's like, well, I've never got to meet the the lead singer of one of my favorite bands and one of my favorite like comic things in Umbrella Academy. Of course, I am. And it's also one of the things that like you went up in my estimation when you told me that. I was like, oh, Brian Shea, cool guy, getting to hang out with my hero. So. Anyways, sorry about that, Alex. Legend of Gamer rounds us out here. And I love this. Legend of Gamer shout out on Discord says, the world is crazier than usual right now. My question is, how's everyone doing? Take care of yourselves, and thanks for all the work that you do. Thank you for your concern. I wanted to include this because I do appreciate it. I know we put out weekly stuff for you guys every week. Sometimes it gets hard though, you know. I don't know. Alex, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Trying it's easy for this job to take hold of your life because it is very fun, but then that fun can turn into not fun. And when this is your main hobby as well, it gets messy. So I've been trying to have a stricter work-life balance, and I've been doing good.
Good.
I've been having fun.
Good. Wes, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Obviously we're in a pandemic and it's terrible for a lot of reasons, but I have like this weird pandemic guilt because these past 2 years have been some of like the best for my life in a lot of different ways. Obviously getting a job at Game Informer, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, and it happened during a really not great time in the world. And so like when I think about the pandemic, maybe it's just my mind being good to me, but like I think about a lot of good things that have happened in my personal life and my career. Before I was here, some of the best freelance work I did, I think, happened during 2020 and 2021. So yeah, I think I'm holding up. Not too bad working with you guys. Not too bad.
Yeah, we like that. Shay, how about you? How you doing?
If you asked me this question a few days ago, I mean, last weekend in particular, this past weekend is kind of where I got the bounce back. I think that over the course of the pandemic, it has been roller coastery, like it's been like I'll have at the start of the pandemic, you could almost set your watch to it, where I'd have 2 weeks of up, 2 weeks of like really down, 2 weeks of up, 2 weeks down. And it's kind of gotten longer between the swings, and the negative swings have kind of been shorter, even as they get fewer and farther between. But I'm not gonna lie, like I like real talk, I had a really bad weekend. Not the weekend before this last one. Like I was feeling isolated and lonely, and it was just a bad mental health weekend. But I got out. I made myself get out of the house. I just made myself go do stuff, which is kind of difficult in a pandemic in Minnesota in the winter, because in the summer or spring or fall, when I'm having a rough day, I'll take myself for a walk, or I'll go like to a park that I like and go for a hike and just kind of be out in nature. But that's a little bit more difficult when I wake up and it's negative 14 degrees and
Negative
snowing
31 with the wind
possibly.
chill, baby.
I
Let's
did it.
go.
I
So-
walked a mile the other day in 0 degrees, and that was a very bad idea.
It
He
is.
became a Minnesotan that day, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
I won't
I
say
think
what
that-
it is in Florida.
Don't.
I think that honestly, like, you know, it is very easy to kind of lose yourself in this job. But I will say that, like, the review of Pokemon Legends Arceus and having to kind of focus on that gave me something to kind of devote my time towards, you know, and it kind of did pull me out of this like funk that I was in for like, you know, probably a better part of a week. And like I tweeted about this, and it was kind of like a like I didn't have anything else going on the Sunday before this last one, so I literally just like had a few drinks and put on some vinyl records and just like listened to music, and like that was very relaxing and like much needed to kind of like reset my mindset. But it also like further like instilled that I was like feeling really isolated in that moment, which is why the next day I literally just was not at my house all day. Like I just went and did stuff like to get out of the house. And like I think that's important. Like you have to balance it a little bit. And yeah, it's just it's I think that, you know, if you are going through a rough time, it's important to take what measures you need to kind of either seek the help that you need, or you know, do stuff to kind of pull yourself out of it. And you know, I've tried to focus a lot more on mental health and like being more, you know, I've always tried to like take care of myself physically, but like your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And I think that that's something that our culture has not really emphasized that much until only recently. And I think that's something that is important for people to kind of focus on, because it's so easy to lose that aspect of it. And I that's something that I've been really trying to focus on since the pandemic started. And because, you know, like living alone is a different experience from living with a partner or living with a roommate or something. And it was a new experience for me to live alone. My ex-partner had moved out a month before the pandemic started. So I was like adjusting to getting like living alone, and I was looking forward to it in some ways, but then the pandemic hit and I was like, oh wow, this is like a special kind of hell. Like there are good things and bad things about living alone in a pandemic, I bet, because like, you know, if I was living with a partner, maybe we would get into arguments more often, or maybe it would be like feel overbearing to have somebody always like around the house with you. And like, you know, I know there are challenges associated with that as well, but like living alone has been a challenging thing, I think, for the pandemic. And you know, it's I don't know where I'm even going with this, but it's something that I've tried to like focus on mental health. Like, I started like seeing a therapist and everything, and I can't recommend that enough. I know it's not a one size fits all thing, but like if you know, if you're feeling kind of along the lines of like how any of us have been feeling in certain ways, you know, at least give it a shot.
What do we say to the men out there, to Alex Van Aken?
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy. I was hoping you'd pick that up. Yeah, I know. I'll get there one day. Yeah.
I was gonna call you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
This man has been saying. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well,
You should go to everybody should go to the. My grandma always said, going to therapy should be like going to the doctor. You know, you got to go in for a checkup sometimes.
Yeah. I think what's hard about that is like, for me, it's my problems don't. I'm in the West camp where it's like, I've had some lot of great things happen. You know, I get to marry the best person on earth here. I got to, you know what I mean? Like, and I got to do that during the pandemic, or I proposed during the pandemic. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we've seen some really great stuff with GI over the last couple of years, even though, you know, the setting has been different and challenging. Yeah, I need to go. I know, but I think, but like stemming off of that though, right? Like,
it's hard though it's like a lot of it's like a big step to do that, and I don't even know, like I feel like I struggled to like, even it's just like scary to like,
It is. It's
to
very
look,
scary. It's
you know?
intimidating.
Oh yeah. Well,
And like, I mean, think about like when you have to go see a specialist for anything else. Like, say you have to find like, you don't have a referral from your primary care physician. It's like, where do I even start? Like, I was looking up reviews, and thankfully, my primary care physician could refer me to a therapist within my network and everything, and with it under the same umbrella that like she practices under. So that was very helpful. I will say that outside of that, like something that my therapist wanted me to do as like an exercise for in between the 2 sessions I make. 'Cause I'm on a 4-week cycle where I just go every 4 weeks. So it's not like an every week thing or anything like that. But she wanted me to start journaling like when I was feeling
Yeah.
like emotional about anything, or like feeling like down on something, or even excited about something, like journal it. And like that has helped me way more than I ever thought it would, because like it just something about getting your thoughts down on paper. And I've been doing it on paper too, not typing, because I get so tired of typing
Yeah.
as
for
a
real.
as a writer. Like I don't want to be at this keyboard any more than I have to be.
Yeah.
So I bought like a really nice like leather bound journal on Amazon, and then I bought a really nice pen that feels good to write with, and
Nice.
because that's so frustrating. Honestly, I've gone through so many crappy pens, and it just adds to the frustration. But like if you get like a really good pen that feels nice to write with, and a nice journal that feels like an event when you're dusting it off to like write
Yep.
in,
Yeah.
just do it a few times a week. It really did help me like kind of sort my thoughts, and it really, like, I don't know, I've noticed a difference in how I'm acting as well, like even in like my personal interactions with friends and other people.
Good.
So I recommend that as well if like you're not quite ready for like therapy. But again, like Alex Van Aken's been saying, go to therapy if
Go
you
to therapy.
feel like you need it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that kind of leads into my how I'm doing too. It's like, and I think I've said this before, but it's like it's tough when, especially like me, who like I like to be very positive, right? And that gets hard on those days where things suck and you have to put on a good face for the podcast, you know? So yeah, and I'm not going to psychoanalyze myself on air too much here, but I'm definitely better than I was at this time last year. I think last year I was in a funk to start the year just because, everything seemed kind of like unrelenting, right? But I
Bleak.
don't know. Yeah. But I don't know. Just, I feel like Alex and I have some really cool stuff on the horizon for video. Reiner's talked about the new office. It feels like, I mean, we're not there yet, right? But it feels like there
Soon.
is some hope and light at the end of the tunnel. And like I said, personal life wise, like I've to kind of piggyback off what Alex says, like, this job becomes all consuming. And I know I've let some friendships slide because of it. So like this year I'm trying to, like, I have a day where I'm just like, it is friends. Like it's all I'm focused on that night. I don't care what embargoes are. Like that's the night I'm going to see my friends. So, and having that to look forward to has like boosted my mood incredibly, because it's like, okay, sweet, Thursday night I'm gonna get through whatever I gotta get through, because I know Thursday night I got a beer and a burger waiting for me with some of the people I've known for almost 20 years. So refocusing on myself while also making some kick-ass content has been a nice balance, and has really helped me in the early months. Also, it don't hurt to have this many games. So, and I've found reading, I've talked about a lot lately, but reading has helped me so much because I can disconnect from timeline, games, screens, and still feel that sense of wonder and adventure. So, yeah, I'm good. Life's good. So,
And that is very important, by the way, the having something to look forward to. Like that's something that,
it's huge.
when
It's
the Omicron numbers were running wild, it was like I wasn't making plans really, because I was just kind of waiting for things to die down before really setting up anything to do with other people. And it's difficult to not have something to like on the calendar to look forward to in that way. But that is very important, and that I find that's when it's like the hardest for me, is when I don't have something like set to like spend time with somebody.
Yeah, definitely. So, wow. Good talk to end the show. Wow.
Yeah.
Just banger after banger here this week. The fun continues next week. Like we said, there's a lot of games, a lot of fun stuff that we're going to be able to talk about soon, like the new cover and that kind of stuff. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your subscriptions mean a lot to us over on Apple. You can now mobily on Spotify give us star ratings on there. That helps us with the algorithm there. We just appreciate y'all so much, genuinely, and thank you for watching the show, listening to the show, whatever you do. But I think that's it from us. Gentlemen, thank you for joining. Thanks for watching and listening, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.